Playing the best music and the best variety. The Mix, 105.7.
Joining me now is Gordy Pratt, singer, entertainer. You're a classical guitarist. You do everything from corporate shows to just doing your spits and giggles, which we'll talk about later. But to start off things, let's just start off by introducing yourself. You know, what do you do? Why do you do it? And
well, I'm as close as you can be to being 60. I've been doing this for a long time. The joke in my show is, and I've got, gray hair and a gray beard. I started playing the guitar when I was 10, and I'm 24 now. So I'm doing pretty well at it.
So what kind of got you into music?
In the beginning, I was like everybody else in the 60s. I wanted to learn how to play rock and roll, and the idea was that if you played the guitar, the chicks dig it. And at the age of 19, I didn't know anything about classical music, but I was playing in a band called Fresh Air, violinist/fiddle player named Ricky Morrison. And he plunked down the needle on a record, if anybody remembers old records, and he said, "Gordy, listen to this guitar music." And I listened to it, and I said, "Yeah, those guys are great." He said, No, that's one guy. And at that point, I said, I got to learn how to play this stuff. This is fabulous. And I studied music at Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York. Very lucky to do that. It was a very expensive school, but my dad was teaching there in the theater department, so I went for $200 a year. And then I took a year off to make some money and finished up at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music and tried to make a living as an artist, as a classical guitarist. And luckily found a niche for myself when I came back out to the Black Hills after 5 years in San Francisco, 5 years in New York City. And the limited gambling started in Deadwood in 1990. And I kind of looked around that and said, where there's gambling, there's entertainment. And I put together 45-minute comedy shows with a group of people, generally 2 guys, 2 gals, a piano player and a drummer if I could afford it, and a light person, so the lights went up and down. It was kind of the old blackout comedy routine. And, I found I had a knack for writing comedy.
I was going to say, it's all in the people you know. A little bit of a lucky streak.
Oh, tremendously lucky. I'm just a poor white kid from western Colorado, and to have the opportunity. I wore jeans and worn-out jeans and boots with holes in them and a button-down shirt. I was kind of a hippie. I had big hair, and I can't imagine what they thought about me when I walked into this, Royal College of Music. Am I in the right place? My playing, I was very serious about it. I literally practiced 5 or 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for about 6.5 years.
Wow.
And when I got into the comedy thing, at first it was just, I wasn't hardly playing the guitar at all. It had been 20 years since I was out of school. I played the banjo, And at some point I thought, geez, maybe folks would like the guitar, or classical guitar, in these corporate shows. And I picked it up again. I eventually made a CD, which took me forever. It took me 3 years to get my chops back up to the point where I could make a CD. And I do, even in the corporate shows, probably 7-8 minutes. These are 45-minute shows. I probably do 7 or 8 minutes of classical guitar playing. And I sell more guitar CDs than I do of the comedy CDs. That's fulfilling.
Good to know that people like you.
Yeah, they dig it. Well, and my theory is, everybody my age, when they were going to college, they had one record by Andre Segovia, and they got really drunk one night and served potato chips on it, and ruined it. So they want to buy my record because they just got to have that sound, that classical guitar sound.
So, let's talk a little bit about your shows then, since you've kind of talked about them already. You said you do just a multiple different types of shows.
The comedy is observational comedy. I haul out my old buddy, an old shoot-up cowboy character, Orville T. Saddlesore, and he tells a couple of good jokes and then sings a song or two, and he relates, of course, to everybody in this area, the Western nature. I have 2 other characters, one from the East Coast and one from the West Coast, called Joe California and Joe Prosciutto. And Joe California just moved out here from California, man, get away from the crime and the congestion. So we sell our houses back in California, move out here, and Aya County. Cool. But not in the oil patch. It's got a little too expensive. Hello there, Joe Prosciutto. Just recently moved out here from Brooklyn, New York. I'm having a little culture shock, okay? You know, I lived with those folks, and just, you know, you pick up the, I have a good ear for accents and whatever, and just their attitude about, so it's just fun to poke a little fun at those folks, you know, that are coming out here and don't know what's going on, you know. They get out in the prairie and they're like agoraphobic, you know. They just freak out because there's no, it's too much open space. Concert type performances like I'm going to be doing in Dickinson, which I'm really looking forward to. I haven't done a lot of them. I used to do concerts as a classical guitarist, you know, years ago, but you know, kind of getting back into that, being able to play a little more variety of material. You know, I do, you know, a wonderful song that was recorded by Kathy Mattea, "Where Have You Been?" It's kind of a, you know, generational thing. That's the kind of song that'll bring a tear to a glass eye, you know. And other material that, I do a version of a dance by Garth Brooks. I was listening to it one day and I thought, I wonder what they're dancing to. And I thought, well, they were probably dancing to a waltz. I won't have to tell anybody from this country what waltz. Yeah, I do the dance in 3-4 times. It's a different approach to that. Some of my own comedy songs, some spits and giggles. And it's a 90-minute show. So.
Okay, and then we'll be doing that at the Oddfellows Lodge
yes.
here in Dickinson, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in just a few. So what we're going to talk about now is why we're talking to you, and that's because Sneak Peek Productions is nabbing you up here to Dickinson, to the Oddfellows Lodge this Thursday.
Yep, absolutely. 7 o'clock. Neat place. I've been in it a couple of times. I really like the room. It's a real friendly room, acoustically and visually, and, you know, fairly small. I don't know how many people they can get in there, but maybe 90 people. It'll be intimate.
And kind of a quaint, intimate atmosphere.
Kind of a what?
A quaint and intimate atmosphere. Make sure I say that right.
I like quaint and intimate atmosphere. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've actually, I hate to admit this, but I've never been in there in the 6 years I've lived here.
Yeah. Well, come on up.
I will have to change that Thursday at 7 p.m.
And on the website, you can actually, or the YouTube channel, you can look at my appearance on Good Morning America.
Wow.
Which was kind of fun. I think it's the camera that makes me look fat. Okay, I was heavier then. I admit it.
So you're going to be performing this Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Oddfellows. It's $15 to get in. They're located 30 First Avenue West, for those of you listening that do not know where it's at. What are you going to be singing? Just a little bit of everything? Something from the new album, perhaps?
Definitely some stuff from the new album. The album is called Rusty Old American Dream, which pretty much fits me. That's the name of the album. A wonderful song by David Wilcox. Kind of a little rocker. Doing a couple of songs by a gentleman who I've met. I can't say he's a friend of mine. Unbelievable songwriter from Nashville. Had a tremendous relationship with Kathy Mattea. Had several cuts with her, including one of the songs I'm going to do is "Where Have You Been?" It was a double Grammy, which doesn't happen very often. Kathy Mattea got a Grammy for singing it, and Jay Vesner got a Grammy for writing it. Just a killer song that'll tear your heart out. 5 of mine and 5 by my favorite songwriters.
Okay, well that'll be definitely interesting to listen to, and that will be Thursday, this Thursday.
A lot of comedy and some classical guitar playing, some fancy picking.
So we'll get to see some impressive guitar playing, some good laughs.
It's like a really good variety show, one-man variety show.
One-man band?
No, not a one-man band. If you were in a one-man band, you got to have the cymbals on your knees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there, the banjo and the little thing on your tambourine on your head.
You're working your way up towards that, though, right?
That's right. I'll have a kazoo next.
You'll bring the kazoo. You cannot be a one-man band unless you bring in the kazoo.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Gordy. Just to finish up, of course, your album that people can get on your website, I'm assuming?
Well, they can. I'd rather they bought it at the concert. Come to the concert, and I'll make you a heck of a deal on. Well, heck, you can buy 5 or 6 if you want.
Or 7 or 8.
That's right.
Well, I'll definitely have to be there this Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Oddfellows. $15 to get in. That is located at 31st Avenue West here in Dickinson, North Dakota, and that is brought to you by Sneak Peek Productions. It is Gordy Pratt. Thank you very much, Mr. Sir, for taking the time to interview us and get to know a little bit more about you. That way I don't seem like completely in the dark when I show up on Thursday. I can be like, hey, I know him.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, why don't you introduce me? I've got a heck of an introduction. It's got a couple of jokes.
Well, I might have to do that.
Okay. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gordy. You have a nice day.
The Mix 105.7.